so we are on What's on the Shelf part 12. So in this cubby, we have Brass Birmingham, Photosynthesis, Evolution, and Castle of Madkin, Ludwig. So first one is Brass Birmingham. This is a Roxley game. It was actually gifted to me couple of months ago, just before Christmas actually. It was neat. So the copy I was gifted as well has the iron clays in it. And I'll show you a picture of my game all set up there. So you can see the iron clays. The game is also, this is a stunning looking game. The board is double-sided where you have the day side and the evening side. It plays exactly the same except that one is a little bit darker, and the one there is actually the day side. This one does take a little bit setting up because if you look at the player boards, there's a lot of different tiles on it. The game plays over 2 rounds, so you have the canal era and then you have the train era or the steam engine era. So you're going to be going around. The main resources available to you is iron and coal. So with the coal, you have to have access to coal through the network that you've created on the board, or that you can purchase them from the market by making sure that your network is connected into a traders that gives you access to it. The iron, actually you don't have to, because it was considered that when you needed iron or steel, I'm not sure which one it is, that it didn't require that much, so it was easier to come by, so you didn't have to make sure that there was a network like through the canal to get access to it. So you're going to be going around creating your industries, putting them on the board. When you do that, you have cards to kind of do your actions. A card is either going to have a location, then you can play that card for that location and play any industry that you want on it, or you're going to have an industry card that you can play, go to any location, but you're then going to have to build that particular industry. Building those things will kind of give you access to the resources. If you utilize all the resources that are available at the industry, so let's say you build an industry and it has 2 coal and you end up using those 2 coals, you can upgrade that by flipping that industry over, so that little piece of cardboard, I guess, over, and then at the end of that era, those are going to score for you. There are different levels of industries as well, so as you go along you can build better, more advanced industries, and at the end of the canal era, all the lower level ones actually are discarded, and then you have to kind of rebuild your network. All the canals are gone as well, and you're going to need to rebuild using the steam engine, which may or may not be linked the same way. This one here also has the resource of beer barrels or ale barrels, not sure, which kind of differs it from the Lancashire one. Very interesting game. It's definitely neat. Like I said, it takes a little bit to set up, but it's not too bad, and it's a fun one. Let me see if I have more pictures on this one here. Oh yeah, so this one shows the iron clays in the back there, and then all of the different resources available. And then in this picture kind of shows the player board a little bit closer, and then all those different tiles that you'll be building. So the next game I have on that shelf is Photosynthesis. This is a neat little puzzly game, actually, and it's stunning to look at. The components, everybody who plays gets one type of tree. And you're going to be planting those trees in this forest. And you're competing for sun rays. That's how you're going to score points. So on your player board, you have all of your trees there. You don't actually get to plant them unless you've unlocked the trees. And then you go on the player board and you can grow your tree. The idea is that the sun is going to rotate around the forest and send rays through the forest. if your tree has access to the rays, it's going to collect those points. Now, if there's a bigger tree that's near you, because bigger the tree, the longer the shadow it's going to cast. And if you end up being in the shadow of that tree, then you do not collect the sun rays for that round. And then the sun's gonna go around the next like at the next angle, and then now you might be getting access, or the shadow is going to be moving, kind of affecting other trees. So it's a very neat concept. Definitely, the components are just beautiful to look at. It's a very stunning game for sure. And then it's you'll see there in the middle of the board, you see that big yellow piece, and then that's the sun that's going to be moving from side to side on that board. Very neat game, kind of a neat little puzzly game, so definitely I recommend this one. The next one I have on that shelf is called Evolution. Now, I've had Evolution for quite a few years now. The first time we played it, it was kind of neat. I enjoyed it, but I was just so about it, but for some reason my kids loved it, and then they kept asking to bring it to the table again. So I was like, okay, fine, we'll play it again. And the more I play it, the more I'm liking this one. And I remember the last time I played it, I was like, okay, this one is great. So I'm liking it more and more every time I play. So with this one here, everybody starts with an animal. The idea is that you're going to be utilizing your cards to give different traits to your animal, whether they're going to be have fat tissue so that they can store reserve to be able to last longer, or whether they're going to have long necks so they can reach food higher and kind of feed before the other animals, or whether they're going to have different protective traits. Maybe they have spikes that makes them harder to attack from predators. So you're going to be starting with the one, but then you can discard cards to create new species as well and have multiple species. At some point, you can have your species be carnivores, and then they're going to be eating the other animals. But a carnivore will need to eat an animal that is smaller than it is, and that is the protections don't stop him from eating it. And if the other player's animals aren't accessible to you, then the carnivore could end up eating your own other species. At the beginning of each round, everybody puts a card face down in the watering hole, and then those get flipped over, and it indicates how much food is available to begin the game. And as your herd grows, because you will have population that you can control, and the size of your animals will grow as well. So the more animals are available, the more sparse the food is going to be. If for any reason you're unable to feed all of your animals, then your population is going to decrease as they're going to starve. Everybody gets a little shield, and they keep all the food that they eat behind that shield. And the goal of the game is to eat as much food as possible. And then at the end, whoever has collected the most food throughout the game is the winner. It's a very neat one. They've republished this one with an ocean theme, so it's called Ocean. There's a few expansions with this one as well that you can get. We have the Flight expansion, but we haven't actually played with it yet. Next game I have on the shelf is called Castle of Madkin Ludwig. This one is a very neat game, and it's really neat because the components, each of the tiles that you're bidding for, purchasing, and adding to your castle are all shaped in the room of a castle. So you're kind of creating a blueprint of this castle. Depending on how they connect, how they're going to score with the rooms surrounding it. So with this one here, this is what it looks like. So you see all of the different pieces. They're upside down to start with, so you don't know what you're going to get. And then depending on the number of players, how many pieces are flipped up. And then you take turn being the builder. So the builder gets to decide what order those pieces are going to be in, and which one's going to be the most expensive and which one is going to be the least expensive. Now, if I know you really want to have the dungeon, I might make that one a little bit more expensive. Not so expensive that you don't buy it, but expensive enough because when you buy it, you pay me on this round. And I'm going to try to make the ones that I'm interested in a little bit more affordable, but not so much that somebody will nab it from me. So it has an interesting component like this. Everybody gets a secret mission that's going to give them bonus points at the end, as well as there are some scoring points as well at the end that's going to be public to everybody. This also is the first game that I create a foam core insert for, because this game comes with absolutely nothing. So you have all of these pieces all loose in a box with no insert whatsoever. So I had found on the BGG website a pattern for a foam core that you can actually create. I wasn't too accurate with my measurements, so some of the cards are a little tight in there, but actually it works not too bad to just put them a little bit in there at an angle, and it does make the whole thing so much easier to set up and play. So this is what my castle looked like when I was creating it. So as you see, all of those rooms, the different tiles, have doors in some of the areas. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see it better. So there's doors, and when you connect them with each other, you got to match up and line up the doors. There'll be some corridors and stairs, so any dungeon type rooms have to be in the basement, so you'll got to make sure that there's stairs going down into them. There's some outdoors area, there's bedrooms area and kitchen areas, or there's entertainment area, and you want to make sure that the entertainment areas aren't next to the bedroom areas, because then that's going to create negative points. And so it's a very neat game. I love how when you create all of this, you kind of end up with the blueprint of this really mixed matched odd shaped castle. It's one of my favorites, so definitely I recommend this one. And that's it for that particular cubby. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, my Facebook page is Didsbury and Area is playing all the games, or on Instagram, boardgame_mama. Great, thanks guys, have a great day.